Over the last 45 years, we've been delving into pro audio as well, of course, and automotive, always with the same philosophies in mind. What we do today is try to make speakers that are more advanced. We want to make different form factors available, make both passive and active loudspeakers, but all of them are built around the traditional philosophies that we want to make speakers that sound authentic. We want them to sound natural. We want you to have low listening fatigue so that when you're listening to music, you actually want to keep on listening. The latest iteration of speakers that exemplify what we're doing here is the Contour Legacy and also the Contour 20 Black Edition.
The Contour 20 Black Edition. We went back and we rethought things. As an engineer, you're always looking for improvements in your product. One of our tenets at Dynaudio is to try and keep things as simple as possible, and that normally goes down to the crossover basically. So we try and minimize any corrections we need to make, like impedance correction or suck circuits. We try and minimize the filter order to reduce group delay. So we just took that approach. The woofer is borrowed from the Confidence 20, but we have changed some different things. The other ability we have here is because we build all our own drive units. We're able to tweak them a bit like you tune an engine for a car. You might just change a little bit here and there to make it more suitable for that model. So we've changed a couple of things like the spider and the surround, just to help the driver fit the cabinet a bit better. Using our own drive units is a great advantage, because when we find any issues or problems with the drive unit, we're able to go back and re-engineer the drive unit. And that means that we don't have to think about putting a suck filter in or things like that. We can solve the problems that we have with that cabinet and that drive unit combination, which allows us to simplify the crossover. So if we look at the crossover in the Contour 20 Black Edition, it's kind of a second order filter, but it has a low Q, which means that the knee of the filter is softer than it would be if you'd used a traditional Butterworth or Linkwitz Riley or a standard filter. So effectively, what we've done is taken two first order filters and applied them together, but separated them enough to lower the Q of the filter. And that means that it's what we say maximally flat. So there's no peak. The total response is more like a first order filter. But the second order filter and the phase of the drive units means that we can keep all the drive units in positive polarity as well. We're a strong believer that the drive units need to be in positive polarity, so that's something we work very hard to do with all of our speakers across all of our ranges. And that means that when the kettle drum goes bang, all the drivers go bang at the same time. And that just gives you that real sense subjectively of the scale of the instrument that you're listening to. So if we compare the Black Edition with the original 20i, we've improved everywhere we can. So we've taken the drive units, based them on a confidence range, so they're better. We've made the port bigger and longer so that there's less port noise when you're playing louder. We've managed to simplify the crossover, which reduces the group delay, which gives you a better transient response, which then gives you better imaging, which then gives you tighter bass. It's just like every little bit that you can massage or file or sand, just polish it even more and more and more. And all those little changes add up to a significant improvement.
So for the Contour Legacy, we based it around the design of one of the more popular models, the Contour 1.8. So it looks fairly similar to that, but completely updated in terms of drivers and the way we do the crossover, and everything is modernized. Contour Legacy is a 2.5-way floor standing speaker. 2.5-way basically means that you have two woofers, top one playing mid-range and bass, the bottom one playing only bass. On the top, it's an Esotar 3 tweeter, which is the best tweeter we've ever made. The woofers are based on the Evidence Platinum, which was our previous flagship speaker, but optimized for this speaker in terms of the magnet design and the voice coil design to optimize the performance. If you look at the technology, the MSP woofer, for instance, the MSP material itself is actually the same. It's the same recipe as we have always used, but the geometry of the woofer is different. It's optimized for each different model. The 2.5-way crossover, it's a topology that is similar to what we did in the old days. It's first order on the tweeters, second order on the woofers. What we did was there's an all-pass filter that we shifted to the woofers instead of having it on the tweeters, and that allows us to skip the impedance correction, to have a crossover that works really well with fewer components in the filters. The cabinet is made from a high-quality MDF, which is covered with American walnut veneer. The veneer of each pair is pair-matched, so the grain of the veneer, looking at one speaker, matches the other speaker in the pair. But your pair might not match what the neighbor has. So that's the nature of working with real wood, that the grain of each piece of wood will be different. I think the Contour Legacy is a really interesting, example of what we do as a company. It's a relatively simple speaker. It's a box with drivers and a crossover, but everything done at a very, very high quality. So that exemplifies generally the mindset of Dynaudio, that it's about real performance and it's about the quality feel and the craftsmanship that goes into every part of the product, not just on the outside, but every part on the inside is done at a very, very high level.